To this first question, just what have you seen from Louisville on film so far?
They're very deep. They have a lot of depth on their team. They have, starting with Noah Locke, they have a bunch of new kids. And Noah, we're very familiar with, having played at Florida. He's an excellent shooter, one of the best shooters in the SEC. He has 212 trees in his career thus far. He's their leading scorer. He's a real problem because if he's open, he's going to make it. And he really spaces the floor for them well. They have a good transfer guard who came in from Marshall that played there for 4 years. West is his name, and he's really a nice guard. He was 11th and 12th respectively in the country last year in steals and assists. He was all defensive first team in Conference USA, all league player. He starts at the point. Very good defender on the ball, does a really nice job. Like his game a lot. So they have a very good backcourt. They have a lot of depth. When you look at up front, they have a big kid, Malik Williams, who's a very good rebounder. He's getting 9.3 rebounds per game, long, athletic. Withers is their starting four, who will back up some at the five, but he's really athletic and play on the perimeter, bounce it at 6'8", really bouncy and athletic. And they have a number of good threes. They start Dre Davis, but I really like the kid Williamson too, number 10. And they rebound the ball. They're good defensively. They shoot the ball. If you look at their field goal percentage defense right now, they held their first four opponents to 38% from the field. So, that tells you a lot right there. They can really defend. They're long. They have a lot of depth. They have a very good shooter off the bench, and Matt Cross, who really can shoot threes. Just watching him play. Eli Ellis is a good player. I mean, they've got a lot of depth. I mean, they keep coming at you in waves.
Your team,
Go ahead.
or
Paul,
Paul,
I'll step on.
I'll get you later.
Hey Ben, with the second game, how do you guys kind of work that out? Do you have someone scouting both the teams right now, or are you just waiting to see who your opponent is before you do any of that?
No, that's all done ahead of time. So I sit down at the beginning of the year and we assign scouting assignments. So like, for example, Richmond, we played last year in the NIT. That was George Brooks' scout last year in the NIT. So obviously he has Richmond because a lot of that team, in fact, all of it returns from a year ago. And then Louisville, that's Coach Ziegler, and that was given to him. And last night was Corey McRae's scout, and so he'll have Maryland, which gives him a little more time to get ready for that. And all of them are working on that today. And just you got to be prepared for all three. And obviously we know we're playing Louisville, but we wait and see based on how we do and how the other two teams do, who that second game will be on Saturday.
How important is that? I know it's obviously really early in the season, but kind of getting this experience of playing 2 games in 3 days, it's kind of like the NCAA tournament format. I mean, how much do you kind of think your team can gain from this early on?
Well, I think the level of competition definitely goes way up when we're playing Louisville, Maryland, or Richmond. I think all three of those teams will be in the NCAA tournament at the end of the year. They're all very talented, extremely well coached. That's why we wanted to get in this tournament, to have that kind of level of competition. To me, that's the most important thing. It's just that, the level of play is now going way up because we're playing NCAA tournament teams that we all feel are going to be in.
We'll go back to Paul. Paul, go ahead.
Coach, kind of along those lines, how do you feel like your team is prepared for this step up in competition?
Well, I'm excited about our team thus far. I mean, we look at how we played number one defensively and on the backboards. We've done a great job. I think we're sharing the ball really well and making the extra pass for the most part. You look at our three-point percentage or overall field goal percentage is very good. The only downer has been our foul shooting. When you look at the stats basically, and so we've got to do a better job there. We only took one last night, which is almost like unheard of, to have a 20-point win with a one attempt at the foul line. That doesn't happen very often. I was reading the paper today, or on my phone, and I saw where they've got a new thing going where 41-15 yesterday. I forget what NFL game it was. That's like the first time that score has ever happened in 40 or 50 years. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I don't know how often it's happened that you win by 20 shooting one foul shot. Probably not that often.
Andy, go ahead and hop in there.
Hey Ben, first off, sorry I couldn't convince my editor to get me on the team playing.
Well, I'm sorry for you because you probably want to get down there and get a little sun, hop in the water, enjoy some basketball. That would have been a nice trip for you, Andy. You're gonna have to put in another year or two here, and then maybe we can make that happen.
Oh, that'd be great. We'll make it happen sometime. But actually, kind of off that, like, what's the schedule like for you guys as a team? Obviously, I mean, you got to practice a little bit, you have some games, but how do you kind of split it up so that do the players get out at all and see the beaches, or what's the schedule?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know. I was really leery about even going there, and actually was very concerned because of the COVID situation down there. It was a stage 4. Just a month ago. Now it's stage 3. It was very dangerous a month ago. Now it's just dangerous. And we all been tested. Everybody tested negative at our Dow traveling party. So I'm very pleased and happy about that, knock on wood. And we want to keep it that way. Because, there's still, I read last night, there's been almost 2 million breakthrough cases throughout the United States thus far. And, we don't want to have any of our players be one of those people, nor any of my staff or anybody associated with our team, because that would be an issue. That being said, they've taken extreme precautions there at the hotel and talking to the people that put on this tournament. Everybody that enters the hotel has to have proof of vaccination or proof of a negative test. 60% of the workers are vaccinated. I wish that was a little higher, because we're just all trying to keep safe. I mean, you read the numbers, you're 12 times more likely to be hospitalized if you're unvaccinated and you get COVID. And you're more, if you do have it, you're unvaccinated, you're more likely to get someone else sick. And you're 5 times, 6 times more likely, I think maybe 10 times more likely to die of it if you're unvaccinated. Fun facts to know.
Yeah, definitely. But you mentioned Tolu Smith's going to get back practicing.
Yeah, total practice with us.
Did you have like a line of like when he might get back to games, or is that?
Yeah, well, it's just all based on how he's feeling. The other day he went hard, for probably an hour, and then he had soreness. And I was talking with him and Seth, our trainer, and he had soreness in his feet, and we weren't sure. We had to, make it be specific. Is it both feet, or is it just where he had the surgery side? And it was both feet, so that's normal. You haven't run up and down, or done a lot on him for 2.5 months. It'll actually be this Wednesday. It'll be 2 months and 3 weeks. So he's very close to returning. And when he was out there, but he hasn't been up and down yet, and that's a whole different animal when you're having to run up and down and play as hard as you can at both ends of the floor. That's what he'll get a chance to do tomorrow.
Theo, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned a few minutes ago your 3-point percentage ranks number 4 in the country. Do you expect that to cool off? And when it does, how do you adjust?
Well, I mean, as long as we keep taking good shots, and it's all about shot selection. The most important thing on offense is shot selection, taking good shots. We have, I think, a pretty good shooting team, much improved over a year ago from 3. So I'm hoping that it stays, above 40 for the season. That would be spectacular. But we'll see.
Back to Stefan to wrap it up.
Ben, with some of your experiences in the past, I mean, this is your guys' first, road trip of the season. A lot of transfers coming in. How much value is there in a trip like this early on for a team?
Well, I think it's more about, again, we're traveling to play the level of competition on a neutral site, and that's the purpose of the trip, is to play against high major teams. Richmond is definitely a tournament team. There's no doubt in my mind about them. In fact, they have the most experience, and they've been together the longest of any of these 4 teams. So they have an added advantage in that respect. And they're really old. I mean, they got older guys. They're all very good players and extremely well coached. So this is going to be a very challenging tournament. No matter who you're playing a high level game, both games, and that's what we wanted. You know, that really will tell. I wish that I could tell you that Tolu was playing and he's starting, but that's not the case. Because when we get him back, then that'll be, you know, exciting for us to have our whole team finally coming together.